So how Brahma Baba made himself perfect in such a short span of 33 years. But and we have been doing this for some time. You both are new, but many of us have been doing this for quite a while. So Baba is calling upon us. What is taking you that long? So I have been with this for the past 24 years and a half. That is just 9 years less than what took Baba to become perfect. So why is there so much of difference in the result? And so clearly there is a lot of difference in the effort. But why is there difference in the effort? Okay. So today Baba is seeing all of you children in your double form. Which double forms? Firstly, your present effort making form, and secondly, the final perfect and angelic form. So we are at the end of the cycle, or what Baba calls as the confluence age. But at the end of the confluence age, before we all leave this world and go back to the Supreme Abode, there will be a short phase and in which we will appear as angels to others. So that final stage is our stage of perfection that will be visible to the people in the world in this age, in this cycle. See, when we go to the Supreme Abode, there everyone will be tiny points of light. We won't be able to distinguish who is who. And then when we go to the Golden Age, it's only we, Baba's children, will go to the Golden Age. The world will not see us in our perfect state there. So only at the end of this cycle, only at the end of the confluence age of this cycle, that we, Baba's children, will be revealed to the world as the most perfect human beings, as angels. Okay, so Baba is seeing the future. See, from Baba's point of view, there is no past, present, future, really. The way past, present, and future all coexist at this time. If you can shift your consciousness to future, you are in the future. If you shift your consciousness to the past, you're in the past. Right? So for a moment, let's say it will take us, let's say it'll take you 10 more years to become perfect, just hypothetically. So right now is 2024, June 13th, 2024. So for a moment, see yourself not in June 2024, but June 12th or June 13th, 20, no, 10 years would be 2034. So can you visualize yourself in the future just for a moment? That 2034 has happened. You're just a little bit older physically, right? The world has changed quite a bit, of course. There are less trees as anticipated, more cars, maybe flying cars, whatnot, whatever it might be. But your state is the perfect state. You have become an angel. And so, in a way, people are seeing you as light, or really speaking, they're saviors. You are just giving love and kindness and compassion to everyone. Nothing can shift your awareness to anything negative at all. You're in that kind of perfect state. Yeah? So Baba is seeing that perfect state of ours. And that is inevitable actually. We all will become perfect. And then he's also looking at our current stage. And then he's saying, why is there so much of difference? Right? So, firstly, your present effort making form, and secondly, the final perfect angelic form of your present birth. As in the mantra of, yes, Achaji, I can repeat that line. So, what Baba is saying is that on one hand, he's looking at our future perfect self, and he's also looking at our present imperfect self. And then he's trying to analyze for us. He knows what's the reason. He's trying to help us analyze why is there a difference between the two. He wants this distance to be reduced. And so, as in the mantra of Hum So Soham, people in the world have misunderstood this mantra, Hum So Soham. From their point of view, it means as if I will become God and God will become me. So there's no difference between me and God. No, not that's not the true interpretation of this. What it means is that I can become like God. There was a time when I was like God. I had God-like features. I had God-like qualities. I had God-like virtues. I had God-like powers. And I can become that. So today, so Baba thinks, Hum So Soham, as I was, so I shall be. You first adopt your angelic form and later your deity form. So we first adopt our angelic form and later our deity form. Today, Baba made the final angelic forms that all of you children are going to become emerge in the subtle region. So Baba has a television kind of thing. So he can see our future self in front of him. He was emerging the future selves in the present self, or present time. According to the effort you make, number wise, you used to see and experience the difference between the physical Brahma and the perfect Brahma. See, in those days, even Brahma Baba didn't know that I am becoming perfect. I'm going to become perfect. So one day, what happened is Dadi Gulzar, one of the main instruments in the beginning, she had the ability to go into trance. So one day she went into trance and she was, sometimes they would go into trance and they would go into golden age in their minds. Sometimes they would go into the subtle world. And one day she came back and said, "Oh, I went to the subtle world and there I saw someone looking exactly like you, but much brighter, this pure light and very light, as if, there's no weight, almost like a perfect self." And Brahma couldn't understand what's going on. So he sent her again and go into trance and, ask, what is that? And yes, the answer came back as, yes, that's your perfect self. And then every now and then, he would send Dadi Gulzar and ask her to see what is the difference between my present self and my future perfect self. And so she would tell you, getting closer, getting closer. So he would feel encouraged and he would know what is going on for himself. So he was also, in a way, asking for feedback from the universe, from God, as to how he's doing, because he didn't have anyone above him, to guide him. It was only God himself directing him what to do. The saying, he was looking at that, so why can't we do that too? Right now, again, go into the future or bring the future into this present moment and try to see your perfect self, your most amazing perfect self right now. How beautiful would that be? How would that look like? How would the eyes be of your perfect self? How would your smile be? Every action would be so gentle, so soft, so compassionate. No? Think of it. Similarly, today, Baba was examining the difference between these forms of you children, a present form and a future form. So at the bottom, you were in your tapasvi effort making form, and at the top, you were standing in your angelic form. Can you make your own forms emerge? Can you make your perfect form? Together with the perfect Brahma, there are the perfect Brahmins. So, where is the perfect Brahmin? Where is your perfect self hidden? Yeah, it's hidden within you, right? See, the way the story goes, Michelangelo, I've shared this in the past. So the way the story goes is that there was this big piece of stone that, you know, I think can't remember who was the one, the emperor at that time, the king at that time, wanted a big sculpture to be created. So initially, he commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to make that. But Leonardo da Vinci, as we know, he died quite early. All right, I think 45, 50, something like that. And see, think of it, in this short time, he was able to achieve so much. Then that stone was just left like that for a couple of 100 years. And then Michelangelo, you know, and so he was then commissioned to finish this project, which actually was never started, was just sitting. And so in a record time, in 2 years, he created David. If you go to Vatican City, you'll see this big, huge sculpture. And it's all marble, one stone. And so later people asked him, how could you do that? How were you able to create David in this record time single-handedly? They said it wasn't a big deal. David was already there in the stone. All I did was to chisel away the excess stone around David. You see? So there's a perfect self hidden within ourselves. All we have to do is to get rid of the excess, unwanted stuff that surrounds our perfect self. No? So it was a very beautiful scene. At the bottom, you were in your tapasvi effort making form, and on the top, you were standing in your angelic form. Can you make your own forms emerge? Can you see your perfect form? Together with the perfect Brahma, there are the perfect Brahmins. Each of you Brahmins can understand how much difference there is between Brahma and your perfect form. It is, after all, number wise. What happened next? Your number wise angelic forms emerged and formed a large circle like in a royal court. There was a difference in the shades of light. The light, you can already sense where it's going. So the light of some was specially sparkling, whereas the light of others was just average. And this very beautiful sentence right here. The light of some was specially sparkling, whereas the light of others was just average. However, the main difference was the extent to which the sparkling jewel, the soul, was shining in the center of your forehead. The light and sparkle of some radiated far into the distance. Although the light of some was sparkling, it did not radiate very far. Right now, see yourself radiating light. So what is your wattage? 5 watt, 10 watts, 100 watts, 1 million watts, right? That's what Baba is asking us to check. The light of others was very dim. Babdada examined the difference between all the children and saw that the speed of the instruments was very fast. So there are some who are instruments, right, to serve others, and then there are students. He saw a great difference between the effort-making forms and the perfect forms. The speed of the scientific instruments was very fast, but the speed of effort in bridging the gap between the effort-making form and the perfect form was very slow. So see, Baba always compares between science and silence. Science is able to do amazing things. So silence should be able to do even more amazing things than science. But many times we, Baba's children, who are supposed to show wonders of silence, fall short. That's the murli here. Yeah, so he's coming up with a solution for us. He's not just going to tell us our mistake, but he's going to also tell us how to rectify that mistake. And that's what we are going to get to very soon. So Bap and Dada were having a conversation about why there is such a difference in the results. Father Brahma said, all of my children are knowledge full. They have all the knowledge. Father Shiva said, together with being knowledgeful, they're also Trikaldarshi. See, so Shiv Baba has a bigger vision than even Brahma Baba. So knowledgeful and also Trikaldarshi. Trikaldarshi means someone who can see the past, present, and future. Now, what does that mean to be able to see the past, present, and future? So we should learn the art of seeing the past, present, and future at the same time. What does that mean? On one hand, we can look at it from the science point of view, the tesseracts and wormholes, and to be able, if you have seen that movie, I don't know, Interstellar, how he travels through time and he can see that his own daughter, in the young age and then older age and then goes back into the past. So you can look at it from that point of view. But a simple philosophical, spiritual point of view that Baba is trying to explain here is that to be able to see what happened in the past, learn from the past, do the right thing in the present, so that you can create a fantastic future. Now, looking into the future, again, see, normally what happens when we look into the past, we end up brooding about the past, right? Or repenting about the past. And when we look into the future, we have anxiety about what's going to happen. But we can look into the future in a very different way. We can look at where we want to go, all right? See what is needed to be done in the present moment. Based on now the past, what we have done, and we have realized that hasn't brought us to any good place. So if I cannot change the past, but I can learn from the past, do the right things in the present, and so I can take myself to where I need to be in the future. That's exactly what Baba is teaching us. They are very clever at understanding and explaining knowledge. They're also clever at following the Father. Not only are they inventors, but they're also creators. Sometimes Baba uses these words in a way in a way that we sometimes are not inventors of good things. We're not creators of good things. One of the most amazing things that we are inventors of are excuses. Right? So, what else is there for there to be such a large difference? What is the reason for this? The reason is a very small one. Father Brahma said the children's power to imbibe is very powerful. Because of this power, as well as imbibing knowledge, virtues, and powers, see here what Baba is saying, their power to imbibe the weaknesses of others is also very strong. See, we are supposed to imbibe only good stuff, but we end up imbibing wrong stuff as well. And imbibing other people's weaknesses, it's not a good thing to do, but we end up doing that. When it comes to the power to imbibe, they forget the words imbibe virtues. This is why, along with good things, they also imbibe weaknesses. See, we have to learn the art of discerning, or being able to discern what is good versus what is right or bad, what is right versus what is wrong. And then the second step would be to eliminate what is bad and only absorb, only imbibe what is good and right. This is why, along with good things, they also imbibe weaknesses. What do they then do? A scene emerged that was played out in the subtle region. You have a poster of the scene in your exhibition set. I'm not sure which poster Baba is talking about. So, a scene emerged that was played out in the subtle region. You have a poster of the scene in your exhibition set. The poster you have has a different purpose, but the image is the same. The poster says, who is the bestower of peace? Some children emerged in this form. What happened then? The first child standing there was told of a particular weakness. He was told that in terms of making intense effort, this was not good. What happened then? That one pointed to the second person and said, this doesn't apply to me, but to that one. See, we find it very difficult to accept our own mistakes, acknowledge, accept our own mistakes. Again and again, I have said this in the evening body class. Baba has said this, that we love to become lawyers for ourselves and judges for others. And I think a couple of days back, I was talking about the primary attribution bias. Have you heard of that? What is primary attribution bias? And that happens to all of us, attribution bias. So it's a bias of what we attribute our mistakes to. So when, let's say, I make a mistake, or let's say I am coming late, I'm supposed to be at a certain place and I arrive late for that meeting. Now, what would I love to attribute that to? Really speaking, there are two factors. You can group all the reasons why I would be late into external factors and internal factors. So external factors would be traffic, other people coming in, maybe some guests showed up at the last minute or whatever. The internal factors would be my own complacency, my own laziness. Normally, I would attribute my coming late or my making the mistake to something outside of me, the external factor. But at the same time, if someone else is making a mistake, the same mistake, if that person shows up late, then what would I attribute their coming late to? To the internal factors, not to the external factors. For ourselves, we want everyone to look at those external factors. Yeah? Yeah. We want to always defend ourselves. We always want to project our best self to the others. Yeah, but for the others, we are very quick to look at their mistakes. So Baba think this doesn't apply to me. This applies to that person. The third person said, because that person did it, I did the same thing. Everybody is making a mistake. Everybody is jumping into the well. Let me also jump into the well. That's exactly, how people would justify throwing trash on the streets in India. Here in the United States, you don't, right? Because you could be fined in a big way. It's more than speeding sometimes. You could be fined $500 for throwing trash on the highway, whereas if you are speeding, probably you'll get a ticket of $200 or something like that, right? So you have to be very careful. And as soon as we Indians go back to India, we start throwing trash on the roads. And if asked, why do you do that? Because everyone else is doing. Yeah, because everyone else is doing. Yeah, I'm just copying the other person, But that doesn't justify what we are doing, right? So Baba is saying, I did the same thing. The fourth one said, and now what would the fourth one say? Even Maharathis do this. Even seniors do this. The fifth one would say, no one has yet become perfect. Ooh. The sixth one said, this happens all the time. The seventh one said, I will become perfect and have to go to the subtle region. So this is not the time for me to become perfect, because if I become perfect, I'll go to subtle regions. So that's why I'm not perfect. The eighth one said, although Bab Dada has been signaling me what to do, and I should do that. I do something wrong. I do something wrong against my conscious wish because of being in the gathering. Again, it's external factors. Nobody wants to take responsibility for his or her actions. The fact that they all blamed each other for their own lack of effort. You see, what's the bottom line here? The fact that they all blamed each other for their own lack of effort meant that their effort changed completely. See, we can be the catalyst of change that we want around us. Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi said that, be the change that you want to see in the world. No, that person is not changing them. I should, and yeah, we can keep on saying that for the rest of eternity. But if we want a happy life for ourselves, we want the world to be a better place to live in, then we have to become the catalyst of change. We have to be the one who initiates the change. So the fact that they all blamed each other for their own lack of effort meant that their effort changed completely. There are a lot of scenes like this being played out in practice. In the scene, there is a huge difference between the aim and the qualifications. So, on one hand, I'm aiming to be the best, the most perfect human being ever. But on the other hand, my qualifications are not aligned with the aim. If somebody wants to become the world's number one tennis player and doesn't even go to the tennis court, for the next 6 months, it won't work. In the scene, there is a huge difference between the aim and qualifications. So, what is the reason for that? It is because of the sanskar that the sanskars of perfection are not able to emerge. So, Baba is building the suspense. What sanskar? Right? Because of that sanskar, the other sanskars of becoming perfect are not emerging. So Bapdada said, it is because this game of yours that your effort making forms do not match your perfect forms. Again, still more suspense. The first and main reason is your power to imbibe. You lack the power to imbibe virtues. So from now onwards, we have to make special effort to imbibe nothing but virtues. Secondly, in the scene, you saw that you know how to blame others for your mistakes, but you don't know how to recognize your own mistakes and take blame for them yourself. Even after, so many times we have read this kind of murli, there'll always be someone who, who most of the times a new soul, say, no, but still it is the other person's mistake. I hope today in this class, there's no one who's still talking about, no, it's the other person's mistake. Or is it? Right? But also see, there is no one else's mistake. The whole universe mirrors our state of consciousness. So if we fix our consciousness, everything else will get fixed automatically. Your spouse will listen to you. Your in-laws will not bother you. Your employer will not create trouble for you. Your children will become the sweetest children on the planet. If that's it, end of the story. Secondly, in the scene, you saw that you know how to blame others for your mistakes, but you don't know how to recognize your own mistakes and take the blame for them yourselves. This is why Baba said that you are knowledgeable and know how to free yourselves, but you're not so clever at actually transforming yourselves. There is one more reason. And what is that? It is due to this reason that revelation is being delayed. This reason lies in having positive thoughts for the self and good wishes for others. Positive thoughts for the self means to have the power to churn. Good wishes means to have the power of service. See, positive thoughts for the self means to have the power to churn knowledge. We usually churned wasteful thoughts. So that means we are really not being positive to the self. And on the other hand, if we don't have good wishes for others, and what does that really mean to have good wishes for others? That is really the desire to do service for others or to others. So unless you plow the field with good wishes and pure feelings, you will not be able to harvest any fruit of the service you do through your words. Understood? So what do we have to do? We have to plow the field with good wishes and pure feelings. So let's say somebody did something wrong to us, let's say. as soon as that person's thought comes in our mind, or let's say that person is physically going to come to you or in front of you, right away the thought comes that because this person has done this in the past, that's what this person will do in the future. And so in a way, you sort of compel that person. It's a pessimistic view, yeah. And in a way, you compel that person to repeat the same mistake again. This is self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how the psychologists are talking about, um, the way, the world works. So let's say somebody is extremely clumsy. Now, that person has been clumsy many times. Now, you look at that person as a clumsy person. You have labeled that person as clumsy. So now what will you do? You're going to look at that person. You're going to be more attentive. And so as you're looking, that person will become more conscious. And what will that person end up doing? Same mistake. He or she will become more clumsy as again. And then what do we do? See, I knew it. He's going to drop that glass of water. So it's very interesting. And then we still blame the other person. That he is like that, she is like that. That's how that person is. But can we create positive thoughts and feelings for that person? It is okay what he was or what she was in the past. It was past. Today is another day, a new moment. Yeah, like Heraclitus has said, no man steps into the same river twice. For it's not the same river, and it's not the same man. Things were different for that person then. Things are different for that person now. The person himself was different then. The person is different now. If we hold good wishes and pure feelings for that person will actually rise to that higher level of good wishes and feelings that we are creating for that person. Of course. Yeah. So again, see, it's a virtuous loop or a vicious loop. So if I don't make the effort to wake up early to meditate, I won't have the power, I won't have the strength, I won't be enlightened enough to live a good day. And so the next day, I will be less inclined to wake up again. You see, I'll be more disheartened, more, disempowered to make any good effort tomorrow. And then tomorrow will be a worse day than today. So I will be even more disempowered to wake up early morning or do meditation the third day. But on the other hand, now we can create the virtuous cycle. Today, I make the effort, a sincere effort. Yes, I have to do it. No excuses whatsoever. No holds barred. Yeah, I'm going to make this effort. So immediately, my day will be better. So now I'm going to feel more empowered, more inclined to make similar good effort the next day tomorrow. And then as I do that, then I'll feel even better than today. So then I'll feel more inclined to wake up the third day. So this is how you create virtuous loops for yourself, virtuous cycles for yourself. So what is Baba saying? Unless you plow the field with good wishes and pure feelings, you'll not be able to harvest any fruit of the service you do through words. This is why the principal basis of success in service is good wishes. This feeling increases the power of souls to imbibe. It increases their desire to know more. When you have this feeling, you easily attain success in the service you do through speech. When you have positive thoughts for the self, you will constantly be Maya proof and also proof against imbibing anyone's weaknesses. As Baba is saying, when you have positive thoughts for the self, you will constantly be Maya proof and also proof against imbibing anyone's weaknesses. See, so our creating positive thoughts, sometimes we might feel that, all right, it's going to help the other person, but I really don't care about the other person. right? In today's world, we truly care about ourselves, right? It's the generation me, although it's the younger generation that talk about generation me, but even the adults are imbibing that. Who cares whether the other person benefits from my good wishes or not? But, so let's say, hypothetically, we are the most selfish human beings on this planet. Now, good wishes will actually serve us too. Forget about the other person. That will be the next step. But first, who is it going to help? Who is it going to help? Ourselves. As simple as that. You will remain proof against any attraction of people or things. So, the solution to the second reason that you were told is for you to have positive thoughts and good wishes for the self. Do not look at others, but do this yourself. Baba uses this slogan that Jo Ote So Arjun. There's one who takes the responsibility becomes Arjun. There's one who is ready to change himself, then becomes the king, the emperor, the sovereign. So, what do you want to become is the choice that you have to make for yourself. Arjun, that's it. So, if you want to become Arjun, you want to become the sovereign, then you become the catalyst for the change. If the other person changes before you, he becomes the emperor. You lose that opportunity. Do not look at others, but do this yourself. The slogan that all of you effort makers use is when others see me do something, they will do the same. It's not that you should do what you see others doing. So, did you hear this heart to heart conversation that took place? Even in our childhood days, we used to be told, like, we would go home and we would say, mom would say, oh, why did you not finish your homework on time? And why did you, get the scolding from the teacher today? And said, oh, everybody else, was the same. They didn't do it either. So what would our parents say? What was that pet dialogue for them? And if your friends are going to jump into a well, you're going to jump into a well as well, or what? Right? So that's exactly what we have to imbibe now. Yeah, if others are doing wrong things, should we also follow them? And right, that's how our parents used to be. And nowadays parents have to be so sweetie with the children. But in those days, our parents used to be tough on us. Yes, chop us on the chopping board. See, and so, oh, oh, yes, I know. They were ruthless, and that's how we became strong, right? Our parents were so ruthless. And so that's how, we have to be, on one hand, merciful towards ourselves, but also when we look at our own complacency, we got to be a little ruthless and say, hey, Shwetank, you got to change. You can't keep blaming others for all your misfortune. Yes. So, what work is Babdada doing nowadays? Before the final rosary is created, Babdada is creating sections from the selection of beads. Only then will you beads be quickly threaded. Check yourself to see which section you are in, you are going to be in. Am I going to be in the first few, or the middle many, or the last few? Some of you know about statistics, right? The bell curve, the Gaussian curve. And you know that when anybody here who has knowledge about statistics and a little bit. So you see, let's say, for example, if you're looking at um, a, a population, you take the population of Cali, look at the heights of people, or say the weight of people. Most people, all right, will fall under, you know, certain, numbers. There'll be very few who will be in extremes of height or extremes of weight. maybe 2 or 3 people who'll be 8 feet tall, 7 feet tall, or 500 pound weight. And there'll be very few who'll be like 50 pounds of weight and 3 feet height. So these extremes will be very few. And this is how you come up with these 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation, 3 standard deviation. So 2 standard deviation is what, 96%? So 96% of the general population will fall within those 2 standard deviations, within that those intervals. So you see, in a way, there will be a lot of people who will be in the middle. There'll be very few people who will come in the last. And there'll be very few people who will come in the first category or first section. So where would you like to be? Right? The very few topper, right? The very few, the first section, the whole big majority of mediocre people, or the last few. So Baba is saying, number 1 is of the 8 joules, number 2 is of 100, number 3 is of 16,000. What is the sign of number 1? The easy way to claim the number 1 is constantly to see the number 1 Father Brahma. If you want to become number 1, just see number 1 Baba, Brahma Baba.
How many students know?
Yes, new souls are learning slowly about Brahma Baba, and I've inspired everyone to read that book Adi Dev. Yeah, yes, right, right. So at least Adi Dev is a good book to read. Everybody should have that book, and everybody should read that. See, timeline, no, chop, 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 brother is saying. Everybody has to read. So what is the sign of number 1? The easy way to claim the number 1 is constantly to see the number 1 Father Brahma. All of you are clever in looking at someone or another. Instead of looking at many others, just look at this one. So if you have the habit of looking at others, then look at Father Brahma. Yes, we do have. I mean, yeah, in our bookstore. Yes. So look at Father Brahma. All of you are clever at looking at someone or other. Instead of looking at many others, just look at this one. So is this easy or difficult? It is easy, is it not? Therefore, you should be able to come amongst the 8 joules. You know about the second and third sections anyways. And Baba doesn't want to have to describe about the second and the third sections. You know, sometime around, I think, 2000 or something like that, the copy machine had was introduced in India, right? And so we had the copy machine in Madhuban as well. And so Baba, as in one of the murlis, spoke about that. I said, it's so interesting that you just put a piece of paper on this side or on that, glass top, and it immediately copies exactly what you, yeah, ditto, right? What you have, put into it. Whatever is the input, that's the output. And so he was very excited. He said, why not we do the same? We just copy Father Brahma.
So won't we be able to recognize or penetrate this virtue? With the same proportion we will be able to.
Right, exactly. So true, right? So Baba is saying, therefore, you should be able to come amongst the 8 jewels. You keep yourself in front when it comes to fortune. You see, we all feel entitled to the reward. That's what Baba is trying to say. In the same way, keep yourself in front when it comes to renunciation. Let's say a gold medal is being given, it's being handed out. So, no, I deserve it too. Why does that person deserve it? But when it comes to making effort, I can't make effort. I have so many different problems. And really speaking, I did make efforts. How can you say that I made less efforts than the other person? We refuse to even accept, right? Our lack of efforts. So you keep yourself in front when it comes to fortune. In the same way, keep yourself in front when it comes to renunciation, to make effort. So tyag and bhagya, these 2 words Baba always uses. So Tyag brings bhagya, that is, renunciation brings fortune. So when we look at the fortune, great, but we also have to renounce a lot. When each of you Brahmin souls says, me first in the subject of renunciation, each of you will be garlanded with a rosary of fortune. Your perfect forms are holding a garland of success and coming close to your effort maker, to you effort makers. Fantastic visualization, huh? Baba is creating for us. Your perfect forms are holding a garland of success and are coming close to you effort makers in order to garland you with that. Your perfect form is holding the garland that those perfect forms are going to come to us. Your perfect form is going to come to you to garland you. Think of it. So think of it, you're not really walking towards your perfect self. Your perfect self is actually walking towards you. So finish any difference, make the mantra, I am an angel, very firm, and the instruments of science will begin their task. You angels can then become deities and incarnate in the new world. So follow the Sakar Father in this way. It is easy to follow the Sakar Father. Therefore, follow the perfect angel, that is, follow the Sakar Father. Today, it is the turn of the Carnatic zone. The speciality of Karnataka is very good. Those from Karnataka are very clever at becoming moths and sacrificing themselves to the flame. There are many moths in Karnataka who are number one in sacrificing themselves. After sacrificing yourselves, you still have to continue on this path. You're all very clever at sacrificing yourselves, but what do you do when it comes to following this path? Whilst moving along, you stop to look at many byplots. Like if you're traveling from here to New York, there could be many scenic overlook, right? That's what they call. So sometimes, you might get too attached to the view. You might valley view or something, right? And so you stop for a minute or two, maybe take a couple of pictures and say, oh, I'm going to stay here for a couple of hours. And then, it could get dark and you may never be able to reach your destination on time. So whilst moving along, you stop to look at many byplots. You are the number one images of devotional feelings. You're also images of love and cooperation. So in Karnataka, they do a lot of devotion. So you are also images of love and cooperation. The speciality of those from Karnataka is that you are clever in being creators. You don't know how to become Vishnu as much. You're not so clever at becoming Vishnu. Baba is pointing out the mistake. You know how to become Brahma very well. You don't know how to become Vishnu or Shankar, but you do know very well how to become Brahma. So we have to become all three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar. So what does that mean? That, see, if you're creating a new idea, so you become a Brahma of that idea, then you have to sustain that idea. You have to take it to its fruition, right? So then you become the Vishnu of the idea. And then you also have to destroy obstacles, the negativity that comes up, within you, that will stop you from sustaining that positive thought. So you have to become Shankar of that, right? So what does Baba want us to do now? To become the form of a Shankar means to become a destroyer of obstacles. You now need to make greater effort to become this. All the same, Baba Dada congratulates you people of Karnataka. Why is Baba congratulating you? Because you make effort very well to become embodiments of love and to merge in love. What is it that still remains to be done, which Karnataka should do in the future? The land of Karnataka is very fruitful. It is a land that can provide the fruit of VIPs. They can come into connection with you very easily. You have not provided any practical fruit for the Silver Jubilee. You didn't bring a group of VIPs, did you? Just as the land, there is very easy to serve, so too souls can emerge from there to become instruments to spread the sound throughout Bharat. In the history of Bharat, many well-known souls came from Karnataka. So all those from Karnataka, yeah, you have to show wonders. Now there are the salutations. To those who constantly have positive thoughts for themselves and good wishes for others. So here, in Hindi, there are two words, Shubh Chintan and Shubh Bhavna. So Shubh Chintan for yourself and Shubh Bhavna for others. So think positive, believe in yourself. And if you have seen that the first of the trilogy of Kung Fu Panda, when Po feels very dejected, then the turtle, what is his name? The turtle's name? Ugwe, Master Ugwe, thank you, yes. So he says, believe in yourself. I think he doesn't say it to Po. I think he says it to Shipu, who is Po's teacher. Can't remember exactly who's to whom, but then there's somewhere this dialogue. Believe in yourself. So having positive thoughts for ourselves, Shubh Chintan for yourself, and then Shubh Bhavna, Shubh Kamna for others. They too will change. I'm doing great, and so are others. Yeah? Instead of I'm doing horrible, and everybody else is also doing horrible. What a pessimistic view, right? So Baba is saying, to those who constantly have positive thoughts for themselves and good wishes for others, to those who constantly follow the Father, constantly follow the Father, follow no one else other than the Father, to those who will bring about world transformation through their self-transformation. Those who will bring about world transformation through their self-transformation. To such world benefactors, to those who are respected by all souls. See, you get respect only when you do something worthwhile. If I just sit on the couch watching television, munching on potato chips and other unhealthy foods, do nothing, can't even fetch myself a glass of water, can't even open the door if somebody comes to the door, knocking or ringing the bell, who will have respect for me? When I do something meaningful, something worthwhile, when I bring smiles to other people's lives, when I become an instrument for others to transform themselves, when I inspire them to do something bigger than themselves, that's when I'm going to get respect. So again, we can't keep on saying, oh, nobody respects me, nobody respects me. But what am I doing? Am I doing what needs to be done to receive respect? But it's not the other way around. It's like, many people take this in the wrong way, you see. See, for ourselves, we have to see this as, I have to be worthy of respect of others. So I have to work towards that. I can't keep expecting and demanding others to respect me, but I have to, do something worthwhile. And on the other hand, some people think, oh, you have to earn my respect. Only then when I'll respect you. Should that be the same? Yeah. Should we respect others only when they deserve our respect? Even if it doesn't trigger them to do anything better, but we have to respect people. Everybody is a child of God. Think of it from that point of view. Infinite potential, infinite worth, infinite capacity. So we have to respect others no matter what. And especially those who are closer to us, We oftentimes take people who are closer to us for granted. We have zero respect for them. So all the problems that are happening that humanity is facing is because of lack of respect for each other. Yeah. So Ukraine has no respect for Russia. Russia has no respect for Ukraine or whatever, The Palestinians have no respect for Israelis. Israelis have no respect. And so there's so much of animosity. And at the end, who benefits by that? There's only pain and suffering throughout. Even in homes, if we don't have respect for each other, parents have no respect for children, children have no respect for parents. Brothers have no respect for brothers. So, no respect anywhere. Spouses have no respect for their own. There's just nothing. So then, how do we expect to have happiness? You see. And again, we can keep on blaming the other person. No, because that person doesn't have respect, that's why I don't have respect. Or because that person does like this, that's why I don't have respect. No, I gotta fix myself. I have to still give respect. Yes, to those who are respected by all souls, to those who are always first in renouncing something. And you see, there will always be some people who will disrespect you. Father Brahma, even when he was alive, people disrespected him because they didn't recognize him. Today, many of you don't know about Father Brahma, so you really don't have respect for him. He's like just a picture on the wall. Who cares, right? That's all it is. Come in and do my job and listen to Murli and maybe have Hogan. So every day, that's why we talk about what Brahma Baba did, the amazing job that he did. So you see, the beauty lies in the eye of the beholder. The value of a diamond lies in the eyes of the jeweler. So there will always be people who will not respect you. But does that reduce your value? Just because someone doesn't value you, does that reduce your value? There's this one motivational speaker, what he did was he took $100 bill and then he crumpled it. He said, who will take this $100? Somebody said, no, everybody said, I'll take it. Initially, I think he just showed that $100 bill, nice and crisp. Hey, we'll take it. And then he crumpled it. Yeah, we'll still take it. Then he threw it on the ground and he stomped on it. He made it quite dirty. Who'll take it? Still take it. See, $100, the value of that $100 bill remains the same. Even if you or that person, the professor, was disrespecting that $100 bill. So if you are a diamond, you see yourself as a diamond, why do you allow anyone else to devalue you? Right? So to such world benefactors, to those who are respected by all souls, to those who are always first in renouncing something. You see how beautifully Baba summarizes the entire Murli? To those who are always first in renouncing something, who are not waiting for the reward to come, but who are the first in making effort. To such elevated fortunate, Master Almighty authorities, love, remembrance, and namaste from Bapdada. So we spiritual children say namaste. But I'm sure you're inspired now to look at yourself, think about the primary attribution bias. We can turn it around. So for others, we can say, yeah, probably it was the external factors that compelled that person to do the wrong thing. That's not who he is, or that's not who she is. And for yourself, you can take the responsibility and say, yeah, it could be internal factors, not really external factors. And let me fix all those internal factors that are making me, that are compelling me to do the wrong. Such an amazing. Look at good things of the others, have good wishes for others, hold positive thoughts for yourself. What else is needed? The world is ours then. Constantly look at our perfect self waiting for us. Our perfect self is walking towards us with a garland in his hand, her hand, ready to garland us. We don't even have to walk towards our perfect self. Perfect self wants to come towards us. So this difference has to end between our present self and our perfect self. Okay. Om Shanti. Let's take a minute to remember Baba. We'll end.